This is Mary Philip here. I think so many of you are new in this group. Last session, what we did was was on handwriting, highway to handwriting. So I'll just share the screen. Okay. I hope everyone can see the screen.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Okay, so what we did last time was we were just talking about the different parts of the brain and the functions. Okay. And then again, which areas of the brain are helping in what aspects. Okay. And then what are the activities to improve brain function? So it was more of the fine gross motor activities are also needed for the fine motor activities. For gross motor activities എന്ന് പറയുമ്പോൾ നമ്മൾ ഈ പറയുന്ന പോലെ ചാടുക, മറിയുക, കളിക്കുക അങ്ങനത്തെ കാര്യങ്ങൾ നമ്മുടെ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് ആവശ്യമാണ്. നമ്മൾ എല്ലാവരും ചെയ്യുന്നത് വെച്ചാൽ പിള്ളേർ പെൻസിൽ പിടിക്കുന്നില്ല എന്നൊരു സംശയമാണ്. We are always saying that the kid doesn't hold the pencil properly. പക്ഷെ പെൻസിൽ പിടിക്കാൻ വേണ്ടി കുട്ടികൾക്ക് വേണ്ടിയ ബാക്കി കാര്യങ്ങൾ എന്തോ ആണ്. What are the other things that is needed? അത് നമ്മുടെ ബാക്ക് മസിൽസ് വേണം, നെക്ക് മസിൽസ് വേണം, ഷോൾഡർ മസിൽസ് വേണം. അവിടെ മുതൽ തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മുടെ ഫൈൻ മോട്ടറിലോട്ട് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ പെൻസിൽ ഹോൾഡിംഗ് അല്ലെങ്കിൽ റൈറ്റിംഗിലുള്ള ഡെവലപ്മെന്റ് വരുന്നത്. സോ അതുപോലെ തന്നെ നമ്മൾ കുറച്ച് മെസ്സി പ്ലേ, പുഷ് ആൻഡ് പുൾ ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസ്, ഈ വക ആക്ടിവിറ്റീസും കൂടെ കൊടുത്താലേ കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളുടെ ഫൈൻ മോട്ടർ സ്കിൽസ് ബെറ്റർ ആകത്തുള്ളൂ നമ്മൾ കഴിഞ്ഞ പ്രാവശ്യം പറഞ്ഞത്. I hope all of you are able to understand Malayalam and English.
We have a mixed group, ma'am.
Oh yeah, that is what I'm trying to share.
There are parents from North also.
Okay, so we have then we talked about was the different Palma grass development. What is each development of each grass? So Palma grass in different aspects of from 0 to says 2 years. So that is the period that we had given. Okay. Yeah. So from there, what we are going to do next is the new session will be about the handwriting position. What is an absolute right position for a child to write? Okay, so usually we have seen that parents have stopping kids from writing on the walls and all that because they feel that the walls will become dirty. But that is actually important for them in their development. We'll come to that again. So the writing hand position, the exact position that is needed for a child to write is shoulder and elbow in a straight line. So you will keep your hand like this. The shoulder and the elbow will be in a straight line. Then the elbow should be flexed. Okay, forearm should be flexed and the wrist should be in a 45-degree angle to write. Okay, and the fingers have to have a tripod grasp. That means these last two fingers will be closed and curled in, and we are using only these 3 fingers to write. Okay, so these are the skills that is required to write. The upper body strength. That is again what I have been saying. So what activities can you give for a child to do to improve his upper body strength? This is where I always ask the parents to help the child to throw a ball, catch a ball, run, pull and push and pull activities should be there. All these are helping with the strength of the upper body. Okay, even we do animal walks. Animal walks is also helping a child to develop the upper body strength. So ഈ മേലത്തെ ശരീരം നമ്മുടെ അപ്പർ ബോഡി സ്ട്രെങ്ത് നമ്മൾ കൂട്ടേണ്ടത് ഉള്ള കാര്യങ്ങൾ എന്തൊക്കെയാണ്? കുഞ്ഞുങ്ങളുടെ കൂടെ ബോൾ വെച്ച് കളിക്കുക, അത് ചെറിയ ബോൾ വെച്ച് ആദ്യം തുടങ്ങുക, അതിൽ അവർ ഓടുക, ഓടിപ്പോയി ആ ബോൾ എടുക്കുക, തിരിച്ച് നമുക്ക് എറിയുക. അത് ആ ടാർഗറ്റിൽ എറിയണം എന്നില്ല, അവരെവിടെ എറിഞ്ഞാലും ഓക്കെയാണ്. പക്ഷെ നമ്മൾ നോക്കുന്ന ആ എങ്ങനെയാണ്, ഹൗ ആർ ദേ ത്രോയിങ് ഇറ്റ്. അവരുടെ ചെസ്റ്റ് ലെവലിലാണ് എറിയുന്നത്, ഹെഡിന്റെ മേലിലാണ് എറിയുന്നത്. സോ എത്ര നേരം അവർക്ക് ബോൾ ഇങ്ങനെ ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്തിട്ട് എറിയാം, ഹൗ ലോങ് ക്യാൻ ദേ ഹോൾഡ് ദ ബോൾ ആൻഡ് ത്രോ, ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളൊക്കെയാണ് നമ്മൾ നോക്കുന്നത്. അപ്പൊ ഷോൾഡറിന്റെ സ്ട്രെങ്ത് എത്ര നേരം അവർക്ക് ഹോൾഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റും ഈ സാധനം അവരുടെ ഒരു ലെവലിന് മേളിലോട്ട്, ഇതൊക്കെയാണ് നമ്മൾ അനലൈസ് ചെയ്യേണ്ടത്. Usually what happens is most of the parents, they forget about all this. They tend to focus more on just the palm area. They feel the child is not able to hold the pencil, but why? So this is the only focus that we actually do. Actually, there are many other things that is also important. The other aspect is the object manipulation. That is how the child is able to manipulate a pencil, or so that means like a child should be able to hold the pencil and just make the pencil and these fingers move. The child doesn't need to do the entire hand movement to use a pencil. ഓക്കെ സോ ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് നമ്മൾ നോക്കേണ്ടത്. കുഞ്ഞ് പെൻസിൽ വെച്ച് എഴുതുമ്പോൾ 3 വിരലും ഉപയോഗിക്കണം. കുഞ്ഞ് ഈ വിരലും പെൻസിലും മാത്രമേ അനക്കാവൂ, അല്ല മൊത്തം കൈ അനക്കേണ്ട ആവശ്യമില്ല. ഈ കാര്യങ്ങളാണ് നമ്മൾ ഒബ്ജക്ട് മാനിപ്പുലേഷനിൽ ശ്രദ്ധിക്കുന്നത്. ഇത് തന്നെയാണ് നമ്മൾ പെൻസിലിൽ മാത്രമല്ല, പെൻസിൽ അല്ലാതെ എന്ത് ഒബ്ജക്റ്റ് കുഞ്ഞിന്റെ കൈ കിട്ടിയാലും യൂസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ. സോ ഇപ്പം കുഞ്ഞിന് ഒരു പസിൽ പീസ് കിട്ടുക, ഒരു ബിൽഡിംഗ് ബ്ലോക്ക് കിട്ടുക, അത് എവിടെ കറക്റ്റ് ആയിട്ട് വെക്കാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്, അത് പിടിക്കുന്നത് എങ്ങനെയാണ്, കുഞ്ഞിന് അത് പ്ലേസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ട്, ഈ ഒരു കയ്യിൽ നിന്ന് മറ്റേ കയ്യിലോട്ട് അത് ഷിഫ്റ്റ് ചെയ്ത് എടുക്കാൻ പറ്റും. ഇപ്പൊ അവന്റെ ലെഫ്റ്റ് സൈഡിൽ ഇരിക്കുന്ന ഒരു സാധനം എടുത്തിട്ട് റൈറ്റ് സൈഡിൽ കൊടുത്തിട്ട് ക്യാൻ ഹി ഡു ഇറ്റ്. ദാറ്റ് ഈസ് ഈസി ഏബിൾ ടു ടേക്ക് എൻ ഒബ്ജക്ട് ഫ്രം ദ ലെഫ്റ്റ് സൈഡ്, shift it to his right side and then use it. Is he able to manipulate? Ipam edukumbo maybe the object is very big, so he might grasp it like that, and then is he able to hold it at the fingertips. These are the things that we do look for when we look for object manipulation. Then the next is visual perception. That is very important. How is the child seeing letters? How is the child able to analyze the space? ഒരു സ്പേസിംഗ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റുന്നുണ്ടോ? ഒരു 2 words ഇപ്പൊ ടിന്റു മാം പറഞ്ഞ പോലെ ക്യാറ്റ് എന്ന് എഴുതുമ്പോൾ സി എവിടെ എഴുതണം, എ എവിടെ എഴുതണം, ടി എവിടെ എഴുതണം? Where should the child write C, A or T in a line? Or if it's a 4-line book, where should it start? Where should it end? These are the things that is needed for a child. Our visual perception, that perception, how is he perceiving it with his eyes? But what we say is 80% is the messages that are going to the brain. Just 20% is coming from the brain. So that is why we say play is very important in children. Play is needed so that, through play, all these aspects are being covered. Okay, so when they miss out on play, we are missing out on all these aspects of visual perception and all that. So play is very important for these children to get into all these. What another thing is like when the brain, our senses have to be all high. It should be used multiple ways, which they should be exploring different textures, like Anju ma'am said. So our hands and our ears and eyes and mouth and nose and all the external senses, they are the ones that are absorbing all the stimulations. So all these stimulations are given to the brain, and then the brain starts to have folds. Brainle folds increase and intelligence കൂടുന്നെന്നാ പറയുന്നത്. Okay, so visual perception ഈ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് where are they able to see, how are they able to see a picture? How are they able to see a letters formation? How are they able to see letters position? So some children we have seen, they will write 9, P, G all in the same way because they have a confusion. So that is where when we teach them to write, we give them clues, like how we had said, when they're reading and writing, we tend to give them formations. So even in writing, we give them a formation of saying, like if I say 9, we say make a curve, go up, come down, straight and stop. So for P, it is make a line, make a standing line, and then a curve. So each way each child learns differently. So we use different aspects to train the child. Okay. And then it is the hand dominance that is important. Which hand is stronger? So that will be the hand that the child is going to use more for his performance. Okay. So that is the one that usually you can see some kids, even if they're 5 years old, they will be using both hands because their hand dominance would have not matured by then still. Why that maturity didn't come is, again, because they were lacking in development in their play. They were not exposed to many things. So what the most of the play item that most kids are given nowadays is digital gadgets. So that is where we want it to be out of their life. We even say like at least, till they have to learn everything naturally, like how Anju ma'am said, in a natural environment. This digital gadget should be out from their system. It is something that we are too focused in. That is why we find that more convenient. And some of us parents believe that kids learn a lot from these gadgets. Okay, കുട്ടികൾ കുറെ ഒക്കെ ഈ ടി വിന്ന് മൊബൈലിൽ നിന്ന് പഠിക്കും എന്നുള്ളൊരു വിശ്വാസത്തിലാണ് നമ്മൾ. പക്ഷെ അതിന്റെ ആഫ്റ്റർ ഇഫക്റ്റ് എന്താന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ഇതിനകത്തുനിന്ന് ഒത്തിരി ലൈറ്റ് അല്ലെ ഒത്തിരി മൂവ്മെന്റ് വരുമ്പോൾ കുട്ടികൾക്ക് അത്രയും ഫോക്കസ് ചെയ്യാൻ പറ്റത്തില്ല. സോ ഈ കാര്യത്തിന് നമ്മൾ ഗാഡ്ജറ്റ്സ് വേണ്ട, ഇവർക്ക് നാച്ചുറൽ എൻവയൺമെന്റിൽ കളിക്കാൻ കൊടുക്കണം എന്ന് പറയുന്നത്. Okay, so the natural environment is very much needed them to explore and feel these. That is only how they will get into a hand dominance. Then you can see that they will reach for some object with one specific hand. They will, if you even if you ask them to take something, they will use only one specific hand. Slowly, that hand will become the hand dominant one, and then they can start with their task. Till then, we have to give them time to understand that hand dominance. I wouldn't force a child to be dominant with a particular hand. I always tell, let their system develop. They will come into that. We have to keep working, giving them natural environment, and from there they will pick up to go into one dominance, and they will use that. Then the last important skill that is required is the hand division. Again, like how we said, using the three fingers and stabilizing the wrist, and closing the fingers and all that is the division of hand. So that is all. These are the skills that are required to actually write. Okay, so and activities that will help to maintain writing position. So it's not just pen and paper or pencil that is needed for the handwriting position. These kind of activities, that is lacing and threading of beads or anything. So what I have done is, see here, you can see when you see as therapists working, you can see that we use same kind of objects frequently. But what you don't notice is we are actually grading those activities. We see here, you can see this, the first picture shows the pen or the string is thicker. Okay, the second picture is very thin string. The third one has the medium size. So we have to give these children all these kind of different textures, different sizes, for them to understand how much of pressure they should apply, how much force they should use, or how much is needed for them to string a bead or use when it comes to an instrument. So this is one thing that helps them. Threading and lacing is one activity that helps, that you can see in, I think most of the OTs will be working with beads and threads and all these. The next activity is scissor skills. So scissor skills, again, we have noticed that, parents don't give children the scissors because they are scared that they will injure themselves. We get different kind of child safe scissors. Child safe scissors are there. The initial aspect that we need a child to do is just a snip. Okay, we don't want the child to do the entire cutting initially. It's just one snip that the child needs to start with. Once it starts, then you can see that child, for the snip to start, the child needs the division of hand again. The thumb and fingers are doing a different action. Okay, so that is also needed. Okay, again, he has to stabilize his hand and just move the scissors. Okay, for the scissor skills. So these are things that we need our children to get exposed to. So we work on all these aspects. So scissors, initially it's just one snip. Then what we do is we make them cut on a straight line. We don't directly give them a big picture and ask them to cut. We ask them to cut just one straight line. Suppose it's like, a square shape or rectangle shape. So what we do is we are the ones who hold the paper and we ask the child to just move the scissors. So that is one way that we work. And then what happens is the child is able to use his non-dominant hand by holding the paper and, use the dominant hand to cut. So that is where we are making the child to reach. We want the child to get into that stage. From there, we can see that the child starts to cut into different shapes. He can cut a circle, he can cut a star, any shape will be fine for him. Then is using of tongs or tweezers. Again, here what we do is we use different sizes of tongs. We have big tongs. From there, we ask them to pick up objects. You can ask them to take up any sizes of objects. You can ask them to take small objects, big objects, so that, any object they're able to take up any object. From there, then we grade back to smaller size tweezers. Again, are they able to use it? So again, you can see when they're using a tong, it's more like, almost the bigger the tong, they use most of their fingers. But when it comes to the smaller tweezers, you can see they don't need the entire hand to use this. They just need 2 fingers. So again, the hand division is happening, the precision is there, and the child is able to, I mean, again, here the visual perception skill should be good for the child to find which object he should take and how much force he has to apply. All this is needed there. Then the child needs to get into drawing and writing, again on vertical surface. So books are like this. They're the horizontal surface. The vertical surface is a wall. That's why we always say give them a big canvas or big wall for them to just scribble and write and draw and paint. You can see different things happening. It's their creativity. But the thing that we don't understand is when they do a lot of this activity, their shoulder stability is working. It's improving. Okay, we tend to be very see, we all have new houses, beautiful houses. We want a house to look always neat and beautiful, so we try to stop our children from doing all these scribbling activities on the wall. We tend to scold them, we tend to shout at them. So this is something that is very much needed for a child. See, if your child has overgrown these stages, and if you know someone else who is having a small toddler with them, please give them that advice. Let the child scribble, let the child write on the walls. It helps them a lot. Okay, so these are the things that we need to educate our child. So you see, when the child is brought to a therapist, we work on all these skills. And you will feel that, why are we working on childish things? Actually, these are important. These are some things that the children have missed. We are working to help them to overcome it and come into that stage where they're able to come at least to their age appropriate skill. Okay. Then these are opening of different kind of bottles and all. So all these are again using the hand division is there, the visual perception is happening, the strength, how much strength they should apply, the dominance of hand, all these skills are coming over here. Once they learn to apply pressure and all these things, you will notice the kids who have gone through all these phases, their writing is better. They will just need a little bit of help, to understand the start position, the end position, or how to form letters. Or only those areas they will be needed. They will need help. But kids who have not been going through all these exposure, what we'll have to do is we have to work with from the back muscles onwards. We need to work. So we need to work a lot more with those children. So that is what you can see. In some kids, the activities are different. Even if both the kids are coming with the same complaint that they are not able to write, we will be working on two different goals. Why we are working is because the one child might be better than the other because he went through all these exposure. And then we need to work on these kind of skills, activities. Thing is, we don't spend time now with our kids. We tend to, be busy with our schedule. നമ്മൾ നമ്മുടെ കാര്യങ്ങളിൽ തന്നെ ഭയങ്കര ധൃതി പിടിച്ച് കാര്യങ്ങൾ നടത്തുക. നമുക്ക് കുട്ടികളുമായിട്ട് ഇന്ററാക്ട് ചെയ്തിട്ട് സമയം സ്പെൻഡ് ചെയ്യാൻ കിട്ടുന്നില്ല. അത് നമ്മൾ ഇനി ഒന്ന് കളിയായിട്ടൊക്കെ അഗൈൻ ഞങ്ങൾ പറയുന്നുണ്ട്, പ്ലേ ഈസ് വെരി ഇമ്പോർട്ടൻറ്റ്. You should have games like, Incy Wincy Spider. Incy Wincy Spider എന്ന് പറയുന്നത് ഇങ്ങനെ walk ചെയ്യുമ്പോൾ how many fingers are being used? Only 2 fingers are being used here. So we can play these kind of games, Incy Wincy Spider. Then another game that I play with my kids is Daddy Finger, Mommy Finger, touch, touch, touch. Daddy Finger, Brother Finger, touch, touch, touch. Since they know the names of these fingers, I tend to play. So their finger isolation, that is something that I'm working on. Okay, then another game that I play with the children is like Twinkle, Twinkle, Little Star, how I wonder what you are. So again, the hand is working, again, we are working on different aspects of the fingers and hands. Okay, then we give them a lot of craft and craft items where we have to make them tear the picture papers, stick it on a picture, complete a picture like collage. We ask them to stick different textures on like wool on some pictures. So they get a learning behavior through that. They learn that when they're getting a learning through the exposure of different textures. Okay, then we go into construction. Construction is building with blocks. So here, building with blocks, many people will say, my kid doesn't build with block. Have you shown how to build the block with your child? Have you sat with your child to build a block? We have to do that with the child. See, children, they learn a lot from us. We are their role models. They learn a lot by looking at the father, the mother. They look at how the sibling is doing. So you can see certain behaviors. If you have an older child, the younger child will be copying what the older child does mostly. So all this imitation, the children learn through observation. They learn from us adults. So we have to sit with these kids. We have to sit with with our children and start working on different objects, different play. That is when they will also learn how to play and how to use each object meaningfully. Okay. The cognitive skills is like problem solving, jigsaw puzzles, and all that. These things, see, puzzles are there of many textures. You get different form textured puzzles are there. You get hard wooden puzzles are there. You get paper puzzles are there. All these are needed. We have to help the child, whatever the puzzle is, we have to help the child to use it. Okay. So these are that helps in what helping them to solve a problem. Unknowingly, we are teaching our child how to solve a situation, how to solve a problem. Okay. So, and then the other things is encouraging children. These are things that you have to talk to your child about what they did. I used to ask my children, what color was the teacher wearing? What color dress was the teacher wearing today? So I needed to know if my child was observing the teacher. So slowly, initially, the child didn't know. So once I went to her school, I noticed the teacher was wearing a red frock. So next time, that evening when she came back, I asked her, what color was the teacher wearing? What dress was the teacher wearing? She did not know. And I gave her a clue. I said, yeah, she was wearing red color dress, I believe, right? Teacher was wearing something in red. But again, like Anju ma'am said, if the child has no speech, we can't keep putting questions to the child. It's going to be difficult for the child to understand. Okay. Then we have to play like obstacle course games, like, okay, let's jump on a hurdle, or let's go under the table. These are kind of obstacles where they have to find it. And so if they see a table and there's something under the table, they will learn how to go under the table. It is not that you are teaching this is under the table. We are not teaching them like that. We are saying let's go under the table. So with that action and that word, they tend to understand that they have to go under the table. Okay. And then there are games like Simon Says, clap your hands. So again, the child has to listen to the instruction. Simon Says, clap your hands. And then the next is jump up. If you just say jump up, the child, and there is no Simon Says. So we play this game. We used to play when we were small, Simon Says. So if there is no Simon Says, then we don't do that action. We are not supposed to do the action. So children have to play all these kind of games through with us, so that they learn more on how to understand, how to listen. Their cognitive skills are being developed there. And then we have visual skill activities. So this is one activity that I would like to ask you people. Can you spot Mr. Waldo? Okay, this is Waldo. He's there in this group. If anyone can, mention it in the chat, I will understand if you have spotted that person. I can give you 1 minute time. Next to the train. Yes, Preeti, you're right. Thank you. Okay, so that was good. Okay, next is this one. Yeah, fine, whoever marked it, thank you. Okay, now next is this picture. Can you figure out anything from this? Again, 1 minute time. Can anyone make out anything? Please message. Yes, very good. Hari Krishnan, sir, thank you. That was good. Yeah, that is nice. So you have very good visual perception skills, sir. Oh, helicopter. Okay, I didn't see a helicopter. I found a dog. Thank you, Preeti, for that answer. Anyway, I have to see, maybe I might see it from another angle. Okay, so actually this is like a Dalmatian dog. This is the face. Once you see the face, you're able to figure out. Okay, sometimes this is what happens with our children. When they see a book with letters and numbers and all written, they're not able to figure out what, where, what is this thing, or what is a letter supposed to be. Okay, so now each of you have a different answer when you saw this. So it's similar thing. That is what is happening with our children. So that is why visual perception skill is important. Okay, thank you parents for participating. Okay, then there is another one. This is another picture. There are differences in this. Okay, around 10 to 12 differences are there. So if you can, I'll just give you in 1 minute, just mention how many pictures can you see. You can just mention the number in the group that how many differences you have seen. Yeah, just mention the number, Ramya ma'am. Thank you. Just 1 minute I can give you guys. You are able to see 29 differences, Preeti? Okay. There are just 10 to 12 differences, not more than that. 9 differences you're able to see. Okay. Swati ma'am. Yeah, so this is what again happens with our children. They're not able to understand the difference. See, yeah, some of them are getting A. That's very good. So that is what, there are around 10 to 12. I've already given a head. There are about 10 to 12 differences, but you're not able to find all of it. So this is what happens with our children. They're not able to differentiate between 3 and let's say E. They're not able to differentiate between P and 9. These are the confusions that they always get. This is why visual perception is difficult. That's okay, Preeti. Well. Okay. So that thank you for participating in this activity. So this is exactly you can understand what is going through your children right now, right? When I give you these activities, it is difficult for you people to do it. I mean, you're finding a difficulty because it is something very new for you. It will take, you guys will find time. I mean, you will take time. If I give it one more time, you are able to do it more faster. So your mind is prepared for it. You're ready for it. That is what we are training our children. We have to keep training our children till they understand it. What is the formation or how it should be formed? So the formations are very important. So when I always tell these, our children have very good memory. So the when you are explaining it to a child, what if you're making a child write 3, make sure that the child learns initially itself the correct formation. Don't change it later on. Like initially, maybe you might be saying 1 small curve to the right, 2 small curve to the right. If you're not doing it, I mean, if you're using it initially and next day you will say, okay, let's write C, reverse C here, reverse C again, it's going to confuse the child. So stick with one and make sure that is the same formation that you're going to use till the child learns to write independently or understands the formation. Okay, that is one thing we have to always be aware of. So with visual skills, you have understood why it's important. Now we are going to do why coordination and planning is important. See, when we have coordination, that is when we are able to do 2 different actions with our hands or with our body. We need the bilateral integration. We need coordination for upper limb and lower limb. We need coordination from right to left. Okay, we need coordination from the back and front. Both are all these are different planes that we work on. Okay, so why we need 2 different actions for hand in writing is the non-dominant hand will be stabilizing our object. That is, it will be holding our book, holding the board, holding the paper, and the dominant hand will be moving, will be working. Okay, so these are 2 different actions. Sometimes what you can see is, the children will neglect the left side, I mean, the non-dominant side totally. They might not keep it on the table at all. And what will happen when they use a pen and pencil and write? The paper will start moving. They will not be writing on the correct space. So all these issues will pop up there. That is why both bilateral, the coordination and motor planning is needed. Okay, so these are some of the activities that we use to help the child to understand. So like tracing shape on back of hands or on their back, we tend to write behind, outside on their shirt, and they will ask them, guess what I'm writing. So we might write number 8. So they might feel it as letter S because almost same similar formation. Okay, so those kind of skills are needed for our children to understand the formation also. And this is for the brain to be more active. The brain has to understand, I'm getting a different sense. I have to read it. I have to focus on what is happening, even if my vision is not there. Okay, even if I'm not looking at something. If there is nothing in front of me, I'm still supposed to understand what was written on my back. Okay, so these are the different kind of motor planning activities that we can do. Float play activities. Again, I think this is something most of our children are missing, float play activities. What we do is nowadays we have high chairs, we have strollers, we keep them on that and we move around. So the children are not getting sufficient time for the float play activities. Okay, these are something very, this is one thing very important that is needed for our children. Okay, and the rest is again exploring, again using different textures, natural environment. Here we have said sand, kinetic sand and all that. I even suggest shaving foam. We can even use aloe vera gel. We can even use toothpaste. We can use, even curd. We can use rava, anything. All these are different textures. All these are needed for our child to explore, and they can learn just writing in that, writing in rice and all that. It's not only writing, it's actually you're making the child to enjoy the different textures. So we tend to draw into these objects, and then we draw different shapes. We can use even that on their hands, and draw on their particular hand. We can, apply colored aloe vera gel. You can just add food color into these things and, apply it on their hand, and then trace on their hand for them to understand what letter we are writing. So these are kind of some plays that we need to work on with our children. Okay. So again, there is like shaving foam. It need not be just on the table itself. It can be on the wall, on the mirror, on the glass, anywhere. Okay. These are the pencil and art activities that are needed for the child to have good pencil control. So that is like, the connecting dot to dot activities. So we have different kind of dot to dot activities. We have with letters, we have with numbers. Again, what happens there is the child is able to read the letter and number and then connect it. They know it the sequence. So it's like, again, going in a sequence. They can't connect 1 to 5. They need 1 to be connected to 2 itself. We can't connect 1 to 5 because that makes the whole picture a different scenario. So 1 will go connect to 2, 2 will go connect to 3, 3 will connect to 4, and that is how the picture has to be complete. So these are the skills that the child will need. The sequential pattern should be there. Or what number comes next, what letter comes next. That is initial phases of learning. Okay. Then this is the pencil grip. How to help a child to develop pencil grips. Initially, like how we said, with all the skills learning, if they are not exposed, they have to get into exposure to all those textures and all that. From there, we have to give them pencils. Initially, we don't give them the long, big pencil. We tend to give them short pencils. Why we give them short pencils, fat pencils is so that the grip is better. Okay, fatter the initial phase is always fatter pencil is better for children who are not able to hold it properly. Fatter pencil is better. Longer pencil, what happens is their thumb and fingers will be in a straight pattern like this. They won't go into that movements pattern will not be there. They will not be able to move to this movement. So they'll keep it like this. So when it's a small pencil, they will have to hold at the tip itself. I'm sorry, I forgot to bring the small pencil. So that small pencil, they will hold almost at the tip of that point where they have that pencil point. So that is why they will have this movement happening right there. Okay. Then again, vertical activities. Again, we keep stressing that they need a lot of vertical activities. It not be just drawing and scribbling. You can even ask them to roll a ball along up the wall and roll it down a wall. Okay, you can ask them throw it to a particular, you can put a sticker and ask them to throw it at throw a ball at a particular sticker. Okay, you have this darts activity, magnetic darts activity, where you can ask them to throw it and make it stick on that particular magnetic dart board. So these are the ways that you can help your children to get into that pencil grip. Okay, then the other thing that is needed is hand and finger strength. Okay, these are very important. So we work on all the other aspects, and then we have to see what is the strength. Are they able to squeeze the ball tightly? Okay, and is their thumb in opposition to the fingers? These are the important factors that we need to see when we ask them to do an activity. You can see some children, if their strength and stability is not, finger strength is not good, they'll do this. They'll be just, you can just see flickering of their fingers. This action will only be there. They will not be doing this action. This is what is needed to understand their hand and finger strength. Okay. Then is crossing the midline. Again, we give them activities to cross their midline. Okay. So we have the songs like head, shoulders, knees, and toes. So that is going in the same order, same plane. Okay. The right hand is going to the right shoulder, left hand is going to the left shoulder, right hand is going to the right knee, left hand is going to the left knee, and all that. So what we need them is to cross midline. Again, what we do is we ask them to we ask them to pull something from one side and pull from the other side. So we ask them to pull. Okay, we can ask them to even kick a ball to the left, kick a ball to the right. So we have to understand, are they able to do it? Okay, then we ask, there are activities like hopping, skipping, all these come into that. So one leg is down, the other leg is up. Then we do, I play a game with my kids. It's called as zigzag zoo. So it's like together up. So one hand is up and the other hand is stable. So together down, together back, together front, and then it's so different actions are happening there. So these are some of the things that we need to work with our children in crossing midline. Okay, you can place something on top shelf and ask them to reach with their right hand. So it's actually on the left side, but they are reaching with their right hand. Okay, so these are the things that we need to work on their skills, again, for their hand strength and all that. Then is the pencil grasp, that again we have said how it should be done, allowing appropriate finger movement and pencil movement should be needed. Then eye-hand coordination, again, this is something that we had just talked about. Eye-hand coordination is very important to string, okay, to write, to throw. We need eye-hand coordination even to throw. You have to know where to throw. If someone throws a ball to you, you should be able to catch it. Only if you have good eye-hand coordination, you're able to do that. So these are the activities that we need for our children to have fully developed to get into the writing. Then we have bilateral integration. Again here, why we say bilateral integration is important is, again, stabilizing one hand, the object, and using the other hand for movement, both in writing, scissors, buttoning, brushing teeth, everywhere we are using like bilateral integration is needed. Okay, so all these will come into the writing skills. So that's it from me today.